Alright, so with that out of the way, I think it's time to begin our investigation in earnest. Now, we needed to find out who's working with copper, first of all, but also figure out where the counterfeiters might be getting quicksilver from, because they're using some sort of silver amalgam to coat the copper they're using for the coins. So, I believe our partner in crime is hanging out at this inn here, and so maybe we can have a word with him about where we should start. Okay, and here he is. He kind of stands out. Not exactly a great disguise for an investigation.
So, what did Master Pfeiffer have to say?
I consulted him and we definitely have a starting point.
Tell me more.
Master Pfeiffer found out they need copper sheets for the core of the coins and quicksilver for the the other part?
I see. They have such materials at the monastery.
Exactly. That's why I'm interested in the local forges.
Yes, that is good. Yesterday, I heard people from the craftsman's yard by the monastery complaining. They said they could not sleep at night because the blacksmith works all the time till dawn.
I see. That's certainly worth asking about. Have you heard anything else?
You said they use quicksilver. There is a painter lodging here who is painting the church in Ujits. I heard him complain also. He said that he went to the monastery for quicksilver and it was all gone.
Well, that's something to follow up as well. Thanks.
God be with you, Henry.
Well, it sounds like our easiest bet is going to be the painter, because I think he's staying here. So it's just a matter of finding out where he's staying and having a quick word with him. Is he in here, maybe? Fresco Master, that must be him.
I hope I can be of some humble service to you.
I hear you've had some problems with the supply of quicksilver.
Problems? I should say so. For the third time this month they've told me they've none. There's no quicksilver to be had, they said.
And who exactly are you talking about? Who's holding back the goods on you?
The monastery overseer, or his assistant, more like.
So what did the overseer have to say to you?
Nothing. Apparently he doesn't deal in such trifles. Leaves it all to his assistant, the pompous git.
What do you need quicksilver for?
I don't. They do. To mix up the red pigment for me. I'm painting the church in Ujits. Can you imagine how stupid those biblical scenes look without red?
Not really.
Then be glad you can. My eyes hurt just to imagine it.
Surely such valuable material can't just vanish.
Good health to you,
Where can
Henry.
it be?
I wish I knew.
Here,
Every
just
time I
as you
ask for the red
ordered.
paint, there's a different reason why they haven't got the quicksilver to mix it. Once they said the goods never arrived, and another time that the wagon carrying it was ambushed.
Here they are.
Then it went astray somewhere.
And you think they're lying?
Jesus, what do I know? But it seems pretty strange to me. 3 times in a row the same thing goes missing. There's bad luck and then there's something else.
That's all I need to know for now.
Ah. But wouldn't you care to buy something before you go? Or play a game? I really need some money. I've been waiting here a while and my stay's getting expensive.
Why not? Show me what you have to offer.
Good luck to you.
Alright, so he's got a treasure map that I don't think I have. Let's see. No, I don't have it. And I've never read that book, so we'll buy both of those. And I don't think I'll bother haggling. I'll just let him have the money. Not like I need it. Alright, so that gave us a new lead to follow. Let's head back into the monastery and talk to the overseer.
I'm looking for some quicksilver. Would you have any on hand?
Talk to my assistant. He deals with such trivial matters.
Fine, thank you.
God be with you.
Do you have any quicksilver in stock?
Who's asking?
Nobody, I'm just asking.
Then I don't have any.
That sounds almost as if you don't want to sell it to me.
It's not that I don't want to. It's that I can't.
Can't you? In the Sasau Monastery? That seems unlikely. It looks more like you're lining your own pockets to me. I wonder what people would have to say about that.
It's not. I'm not. Ugh. Shit.
Get to the point.
They came for me at noon. Directly to the office. The overseer was somewhere on his rounds. Some night, it was. Without a crest. Armed. He called himself Sir Jezek, and he had a lackey with him called Rapota. A scruffy fellow with a yellow cape. Always whistling he was. They told me they wanted all the quicksilver we order for the monastery. Of course, I told him that wouldn't be possible.
And then what? Did they threaten you?
Not at first. They tried to bribe me, and when I refused, they started threatening.
What did they threaten you with?
They said they know people in the monastery. That they'd have me thrown out and beaten for stealing.
And you had been stealing? I mean, before then?
You know how it is. I work my fingers to the bone and they pay me a pittance.
So they knew about you?
Yes, they knew my name, everything.
How did you hand it over to them?
I take it up the hill behind the monastery here. There's a big tree there with a small chapel underneath. Sometimes Rapota is there waiting for me. If not, I leave it there.
Very well. Thank you.
God be with you.
All right, well, that certainly helped. Let's follow up on the copper now, because I don't think that we're going to be able to investigate that straight away. I think we're probably going to have to wait until the evening to check in on that.
Do you work any copper here, Master Blacksmith?
Why'd you ask?
I'd want to commission you to make something.
Then you'd best go elsewhere. I never use copper.
Aha. What can you tell me about the Sasau blacksmiths?
Well, there's Mikesh. He's honest enough, and a fair hand at everyday things. And then there's Master Otter. He used to have talent, but now he's too old, and too proud to admit it.
The swordsmith from the town said he was after the pieces of a sword from some Queen of Sheba. A pilgrim was selling them a while back.
I know he's after those, but he's out of luck. He should have bought it while he had the chance. I still have mine on me. It brings me good fortune, and I shan't sell it.
Not even...
Not even for a king's ransom.
I hope I can be of some humble service to you.
Do you ever work with copper here?
No, and even if I wanted to, I couldn't. Zach from the monastery craftsman's yard has bought out all the copper.
What can you tell me about the Sasau blacksmiths?
There's too many of us, I'll tell you that for free. This is only a small town. There's Zach, who has a forge in the craftsman's yard and mostly works on the construction of the church. And then, apart from me, there's Master Armourer Otter of Ramstein.
Tell me more about Zach.
Don't have much time for him myself. He knows his craft, no question. But he seems to think his son, Vitus, will be a master armourer in Prague one day.
My father was a blacksmith, and I expect he thought much the same about me. That's how fathers are, isn't it?
Of course, any man should be proud of his boy. But Zach makes pride a sin. That's why he's at loggerheads with Master Otter.
What are Zach and Master Otter arguing about?
Zach had his boy Vitus trained as an armourer in Kuttenberg, and he wanted to buy out Otter's place for him. Except that Otter's a proud man. How would it have looked? A master armourer giving way to a young whippersnapper who's barely let go of his mother's skirts? And they've been arguing ever since. Well, Zach mostly. He badmouths Otter every chance he gets. He claims that he's only fit for mending pots, and that his son will see him off.
Can you tell me something about Master Otter?
Well now, there's a master to look up to. He's worked for the lords of Kunstadt and for the richest townsfolk of Prague.
If you don't mind my asking, what brings him here?
The same as draws all reasonable people. He's enjoying the peace and quiet. Or rather, he used to enjoy some peace. That dispute with Zach must have put a few more wrinkles on his brow.
That will be all. Thank you.
Very, very interesting. So Zach told us that he doesn't work with copper, but this guy is saying that Zach has all the copper in town. So if anybody's going to be working copper, it's pretty much got to be Zach. We'll talk to Master Ota anyways, because we may as well get, the story from everybody and see if, anything doesn't quite match up.
I'm at your service, Sir Knight.
Do you make anything out of copper, Master?
I do a bit of Damascene decor sometimes. Why do you ask?
I'm looking for someone who could do me some copper sheets.
Well, that's pretty rough and ready work. I wouldn't waste my time with it. But go and ask Zach from the craftsman's yard by the monastery. He's bought up all the copper to be had around here anyway.
What can you tell me about the blacksmiths here in Sasau?
Depends which ones you mean. In the town there's Mikesh. He's a decent man and an honest craftsman. And in the yard by the monastery there's Zach. But there's not many good words I can say about him.
What about the monastery blacksmith, Zach?
Well, him and me don't exactly see eye to eye. He wanted to buy my business, but I turned him down. Ever since then, he hasn't had a good word to say about me.
Tell me something about Mikesh.
Like I said, he's an honest craftsman, which isn't something you can say about every blacksmith in town.
That'll be all. Thank you.
Alright, so he seemed to confirm Mikesh's story that Zach did indeed buy up all the coppers, so I think we should probably... What are you doing with a cumin helmet in here? A cumin captain's helmet, no less.
Welcome, Henry.
Well, again, let's go talk to Zach again and see what he has to say for himself.
Your father says you don't work any copper.
We don't.
I've heard differently around town. They say your father's bought up all the copper to be had.
Are you calling me a liar? Or my father? You're asking for it, boy.
You're right. It's nothing to me either way.
Right. So clear off.
I mean, beside the fact I'm here on behalf of the Royal Burgrave Sir Radzig Cobbler, investigating a grievous crime against the Crown.
What? What are you talking about?
I'd let you read my Bill of Authority, but I doubt you're educated enough to understand it.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realise. If I'd known, of course I wouldn't. I mean, you understand, don't you?
Stop prattling, for God's sake, and start telling me the truth. What's the story with the copper at your forge?
You're right. We do make copper sheets here at night.
So why all the secrecy about it?
Father forbade me to talk about it. I don't know why. I didn't ask.
Who buys those sheets from you?
I don't know. I've never set eyes on him. Father doesn't like to talk about it.
Your father has some serious explaining to do.
I'm so sorry. If I'd known who you were, I'd never have taken such liberties.
Never mind. You weren't to know who I am. You were just protecting your father's business interests like any good son.
Thank you.
Hey buddy, we're trying to talk here.
So back to that copper, Master Blacksmith.
What? I thought I told you I don't work with copper.
Your son put it quite differently.
What's that? What are you blabbering on about?
Don't be angry with him. I didn't give him any choice.
All right. I suppose there's no point lying. We do make copper sheets here, and I want you to keep it quiet.
Why?
Pays me good money, and the people I do it for. I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of them.
Did they threaten you?
They didn't have to. Just by the look of them, I could say I needed to shut my mouth and do what they wanted.
And did they ever tell you who they were? Do you know where to find them?
I know a little. I'd show some understanding. There's nothing but trouble in it for me. I'll lose the work and be left looking over my shoulder for some thugs to come and burn down my house. Or worse.
If you lie down with dogs, you shouldn't complain about the fleas.
There's no need for threats. We can both benefit here. If I tell you everything I know, you can help me with a certain small matter. One that'll cover up for my loss of earnings.
So what are we talking about?
I recently tried to buy Master Armourer Otto Rabstein's business for my son Vitus, but that old fool wouldn't listen to reason. He said he couldn't understand his legacy being taken over by a clod like my Vitus. Despite the insult, I doubled my offer, but Master Otto still wouldn't budge.
And what is it you need from me?
I thought I'd show Otto that Vitus isn't such a dolt as he thinks, but for that I need someone experienced in combat.
What's your plan?
Otto's busy making a very pretty suit of armor for the bailiff. So I was thinking, if we could show that pretty armor of his is absolutely useless, he'd be disgraced.
And how am I supposed to see to that?
Well, I'd reckon we'd arrange a duel of champions with bludgeons. You'll put on Vitus's armor, and Otto will send his champion in that tin shit of his. You invite the bailiff to watch, and Otto will be made a laughingstock in front of everyone.
But what do I get out of it?
What we already agreed. I'll give up dealing in copper, and I'll tell you everything I know about what's been going on.
Do you really think that will work?
Otto's always mouthing off in the alehouse that my young lad isn't worth a damn. Once I show he's just a bitter old bastard spouting hot air, his business will be ruined, and Vitus will reap the reward. What with all the strife in the country these days, there'll be no end of work for a good armourer.
But what if I lose?
Nonsense. How could you? Vitus's armour is light as an eggshell and hard as a rock.
Agreed. I'll get to work on it.
Wonderful. Go to Otto first and talk him into it. Then go to the bailiff so he can announce it and get spectators. The more people see it, the better. We'll bring the armour to you at the combat arena.
Alright, well, I kind of feel bad for the guy, so I'm going to help him out. Let's go ahead and talk to the armorer again.
Yeah.
I don't like running back and forth, but I've got little choice. Okay, so here we are in town. Let's check in with Master Fafar first. He's hanging out in... Oh, he's actually right here.
Greetings. What do you need?
You look different, Master.
So as to fit in. I don't want it known that I'm in town.
Why?
I don't want to alarm our prey. Gossip spreads quickly, and if those scoundrels learn we're onto them, they'll flee.
That does make sense.
So what have you found out so far?
I found out where they get their quicksilver from. You were right, it was the monastery.
It was the only logical explanation.
It changed hands on the hill behind the monastery.
Have you been there to have a look around?
Not yet.
Maybe it would be worth the time.
I'll go and see.
And have you found out who's behind it?
Someone called Rapata.
Not much, but it's a start. At least it's not a common name. Listen, Henry, I had another thought on the way here. Those counterfeiters have to have a punch die to make the fake coins.
Yes, of course.
That's sophisticated work. There's a man I know who works at the monastery yard, Master Engraver Jerome of Silesia.
You don't suppose that he's...
No, not that, God forbid. I know him well. He'd never do anything like that. But he runs an engraving workshop, so he might have heard something.
Very well, I'll ask him.
But ask with tact. I don't want him getting offended. And I prefer you not to mention me at all.
I'll try to think of something.
Okay, so now that we've reported in, let's go talk to the armorer and see about setting up this little competition.
Master Armourer, I have a message for you from Blacksmith Zach.
If it's another one of his so-called generous offers, you can go straight back and tell him I'm not selling, and that's that.
No, this is another matter. Vitus wants to challenge you to a duel.
What? Me fight with that brat? Zack must have lost his mind entirely.
That's not how it will be. The real duel will be between your pieces of handiwork.
How's that?
It will be a duel with bludgeons. No bloodshed. At most, a few bruises and some dents in the armor. Zack chose me to wear Vitus armor.
And so I'm to choose a champion of my own? That sounds reasonable.
Good. So let's agree on the time and place.
Hold your horses, young fella. I've got a counter offer for you. Now, I'm sure Zack is paying you well.
I won't deny it.
I could pay you more. And I'd tailor-make a cuirass just for you. What do you say?
You mean if I fight as your champion instead? I'm not sure how Zack would take it.
No. You fight on Zack's side. And lose.
Okay, so I'm going to interject here real quick and just let you guys know, if you're playing along or whatever, this decision does have some ramifications, especially if you've got the From the Ashes DLC. Whichever blacksmith you side with here will be available to join your town when you go to hire a blacksmith in the DLC. Also, depending on who you choose in this quest, you will get a piece of chest armor made by the respective blacksmith, and as it happens, Vitus's armor is considerably better than Master Ota's. Master Ota's is actually one of the worst breastplates in the game. though it does look a lot nicer. So if you want the better piece of armor, then go ahead and choose Vitus. If you don't necessarily care, but you do favor one blacksmith over the other for your own town, make sure you choose them.
Forget it. I won't sully my name with cheating.
Suit yourself. But my champion will batter you into the ground anyway, so you've nothing to gain.
So, choose the time and place.
What, me?
You're the one being challenged, so it's your right.
Well, it's all the same to me. Go and sort it out with the bailiff. He should know about it anyway, so I don't look like a troublemaker.
All right?
I'm honored that you should come to me.
I'm here on behalf of blacksmith Zach.
Zach? What does that madman want now? Don't tell me. It's another complaint about the Master Armorer. Well, you can tell Zach if you waste another minute of my time with that pathetic feud of his. I'll have him up for disrespecting the office of the bailiff.
No, it's not a complaint this time. In fact, Zach came up with an idea to settle the dispute once and for all.
Is that so? Well, that's a different kettle of fish. That's just what I was after. You have my full attention, friend. What's his plan?
A duel.
Jesus Christ! Has he lost his wits entirely?
Don't worry, Goodman Bailiff. No one will get killed. It will only be a duel with bludgeons. Zach chose me as his champion. I'll be wearing a suit of armor made by his son, Vitus, and I'll fight Otter's champion. Whoever falls first, loses.
That sounds like a fine spectacle for the village green. Naturally, I'll have to be present to ensure nothing untoward happens.
Your presence is certainly expected, Bailiff. We'd like you to referee the whole duel.
Very well. We'll have it on the marketplace in the front of the church. But when?
That's up to you.
We could announce it right now.
Let's do it.
I'll have it announced around town. You come along at just the right time. It'll be a fine show for the townsfolk, and I'll finally get that pair and their constant squabbling off my back. Good citizens of Sasau, our township has long been plagued by a protracted dispute. As you are no doubt aware, Zach, the blacksmith of the monastery courtyard, and Master Armorer Otto Rabstein have been, for some time, at odds.
Ha ha! Added hammer and tongs, more like!
And in so much as it behoves my office as bailiff to settle such disputes and maintain peace and order, I have decided to resolve the blacksmith's quarrel by unconventional means, whilst affording an entertaining spectacle. In short, we shall let them knock each other's teeth out. However, since it ill befits two respectable tradesmen to maul each other on the market square like a pair of cocks on a dung heap, each of them has elected a champion. Zach, the blacksmith, has appointed to fight in his stead Henry of Scarlets. And Master Otto Rabstein's champion will be... Please, introduce yourself, Sir Knight.
Master Otter will fight for Master Otter. I don't need some young pup to take my place.
I remind you that this will be a duel with bludgeons alone, and until first blood is shed. Come, folks, be sensible for heaven's sake. We don't want any maiming here, or, God forbid, murder. So, if both contestants are ready, let us begin.
All right, here we go. Now I'm at a bit of a disadvantage because I don't have a whole lot of mace skill, which is what's going to translate to the bludgeon. But Oh, did I already take him?
You kicked that old bastard's arse, Henry. His ears will be ringing for a month. Now everyone will see who knows how to make armor and who's all hot air.
It was as easy as falling off a log. Any other business disputes you'd like me to sort out for you?
I might have, lad, but not any you can solve with a bludgeon. Anyway, come by the forge later for your reward.
All right.
Right, so I was expecting that to be a real fight because I don't have a whole lot of bludgeon skill, but I guess because I have max strength skill, I pretty much one-shotted him with that hit to the head, so it ended a lot faster than I would have expected. Alright, so riding up the hill, there's supposed to be a lone tree with a shrine. Could it be this tree here? That is sort of the top of the hill, isn't it? And there's a shrine, okay. So here we are. Let's look for some clues. Okay, I think those are just backers. Kickstarter backers. I'm not seeing anything about at the tree. Alright, so searching the area, I found a little camp here. Let's see if... Oh, these guys are armored. It doesn't really do me any good to kill them, though. I need information out of them. Let's see if they're willing to talk. I mean, they haven't attacked me yet. Oh, he's a bandit. But he's not hostile.
Does the name Rapota ring any bells for you?
Rapota, you say? Rapota. Nope, I can't hear any bells ringing at all.
Why are you just sitting around?
Why not? Admiring the view. People just do not appreciate a lovely view these days.
Admiring the view, my arse. If you ever want to see another view again, I suggest you answer my question.
Ha! I've been more impressively threatened by my sister's baby.
Fuck you! Look, you little jester, I'm investigating a crime against the king on the direct orders of Sir Radzig. Are you really going to keep pretending you don't know anything?
Hang on. What's all this about a crime against the king? I'm just keeping an eye on things. When a wagon comes in, I'll make sure nobody robs it. I get a commission for that. That's it.
See? That didn't hurt a bit. Where's Rapota?
I don't know. He's been staying in town lately. He hardly ever shows up here. It seems he's keeping an eye on someone there. But I don't know who.
Who comes to fetch them?
I don't know. Some people. They don't speak. Just look mean. Take the goods and go.
Thanks. Hope the scenery keeps you entertained.
We know these guys are bandits. And I can't just leave them here.
Folks, he's looking at a corpse! What's this place coming? Bring it on!
You're gonna fist fight me? That's not a good idea. Okay. Like, I appreciate your courage to square up, but that didn't do you a whole lot of good. Alright, so it's a new day, but we still need to find out who this Rapota is, or track him down at the very least. So, we have a couple of leads to follow up on. We need to return to Zach to see if he has any information, and plus he owes us a bit of armor. And then we still haven't visited the Master Engraver, so we'll need to talk to him as well. Let's head to Zach first, and then we'll see if the Master Engraver is awake yet.
God save you, good knight. What can I do for you?
I'll come for my reward.
Of course. And thanks again, lad. It's worked wonders for my trade.
And will Otter sell you his business?
I don't know. But the way things are looking now, his trade will soon be dead as a doornail anyway.
I'm glad your trade is going well. Now, about our little deal.
Ah, that little matter. Right.
So, out with it. How was it all arranged?
One evening I got a visit from this scruffy beggar calling himself Rapota. He had a yellow cape on and kept whistling to himself. There was a knight with him too, but he didn't give his name. They told me what I had to do, how much I'd get for it, and I had to keep my mouth shut.
And where can I find this Rapota? Or the knight?
I don't know exactly. But I've always left the wagon with the goods behind the monastery. On the hill there, next to a small chapel under a big tree.
Anything else?
No. I swear that's all I know.
Well, that'll do me for now.
Right, so that actually wasn't that helpful. We already knew that they were making the deliveries of Quicksilver up on that hill, and so it stands to reason that that's where the copper sheets would be delivered to, so that's not really anything new for us. It doesn't really lead us anywhere. Let's head over to the Master Engravers, and hopefully he'll have a little bit more for us to go on, because as of right now, we still have no idea who Rapota is, other than that he wears the yellow cape.
My humble greetings. How may I serve you?
How goes the work, Master?
Getting there, getting there. You need something, my boy?
What are you doing here, anyway?
You're in an engraver's shop, my boy. We're engraving, of course.
Yeah, but engraving what? And what's it used for?
Oh, we engrave wood and stone as well as metal. Here in the monastery, it's mostly about decoration.
You've got quite a large workshop, Master. You don't do all the work alone, surely?
I'm usually here with my apprentice, Florian. Of course, by simple observation, you'll note that this is not currently the case, and I'm here alone. Which means that either I'm a liar or something out of the ordinary has occurred.
I see. I think. So what's happened to Florian?
He shares the fate of the pharaohs for today. The fifth scourge of Egypt did smite him, the plague. Or so his message advised me.
Jesus Christ, the plague?
Do remain calm. I'm quite certain the plague from which Florian is suffering wasn't a judgment from on high. Or if it was a judgment on excessive drinking. I'm told such an ailment can be of truly biblical proportions.
What's he like, your apprentice, Florian?
I'm afraid that his exuberant youth has taken its toll. He's been acting strangely of late. I fear he has delusions of persecution.
I don't really know what you mean, at all.
Recently, for example, he told me that someone was following him. And the very next day he bought a padlock from the blacksmith and locked up his chest. As though I would ever sneak into it. In any case, why the interest? Are you looking for him?
Something like that.
May I ask why?
I have a message for him.
A message? Who would be interested in that wastrel? Other than his furious and deeply disappointed master, of course. About your question, you'll find him at home. No doubt feverishly dying. He sleeps in the baker's cellar.
Ah, thank you. Does Florian have any enemies?
A man such as he certainly owes money at every turn, and the parents of local girls are undoubtedly displeased with his attempts to propagate. However, most recently it was that fury from the baths who accosted him in quite a spectacular rage.
A woman from the baths? What did she do?
The harpy nearly tore all Florian's hair out. I don't frequently feel sorry for my ne'er-do-well apprentice, but on that occasion I made an exception.
Do you have any idea why she did it?
She was screaming about some girl, some flighty bath-maid, Esther. I would say that Florian had felt the joys of spring and acted accordingly, although one would have thought they'd be used to that sort of thing at the bathhouse.
Thank you. I'll leave you to your work.
Good luck, then.
Okay, well, that's a little bit of information to go on. Let's talk to the proprietor of the bathhouse first and get a little bit more information on this guy before we go deal with him directly, but we'll obviously need to talk to him as well. I'd just like to have all the information possible before we go in and deal with him.
I hear you're at odds with apprentice Florian.
At odds? I'll give you at odds. It's that sod's fault they took my Esther. Poor girl. I shudder to think what's become of her.
What exactly happened?
This man came in wanting a bath, and Esther with it. She doesn't normally offer that kind of service, but I didn't see the harm, so I sent her in to him. And suddenly I hear screams. So I run out, and I see the bastard pulling her out of the tent and shoving her into a boat.
I'm sorry they took her, but what exactly has it got to do with Florian?
They shouted at me to tell Florian that when he wises up, he'll get the girl back.
I assume that Florian knows this, Esther.
You know village girls. They don't get much of a choice. Every other knave has a turnip for a brain, and if they don't, they're relatives. And then some young dandy turns up who writes her little poems. What's the poor girl to do? And this is how it ends. She should have stuck with the turnip heads.
It sounds like you were close to Esther.
I loved her like my very own. She came to me as an orphan, like a wolf child she was. I raised her and taught her and gave her a job, and now she's gone. Who knows if she's even alive?
What did the bailiff make of it?
Don't even get me started on that. He's another fine... I won't say what. I told him everything, but he says he won't do nothing about it.
How's that then?
He wouldn't tell me to my face, of course. But people here don't think much of us. There's some as reckon my Esther deserves what she got. Poor girl.
Where can I find this Florian? I'd like to ask him a few questions.
He works in the engraver's workshop at the monastery craftsman's yard. And if he's not there, he'll be holed up like the rat he is in the cellar he rents from the baker. He's afraid of me, for sure.
Okay, so that's interesting. Obviously, he's tied up in this somehow, because why would people be abducting his girlfriend otherwise? So let's go talk to Florian himself now and see what he's got to say about this. Okay, here he is, and with the door open. Let's close this, just in case anything goes down that we wouldn't want people to see or hear.
You look quite sprightly for an invalid.
What? Who the hell are you?
My name's Henry, and I'm making inquiries for Sir Radzig Cobbler.
And what do you want from me?
Straight to the point then. All right. I've been investigating counterfeit money, and the trail led me straight to you. Does the name Rappator mean anything to you?
I don't know. Maybe?
Don't bother. I know you know him. You make the punch dies for the counterfeiters. How do you hand them over? Do you know where their workshop is?
I can't say anything. I'll deny everything and you've got nothing on me. No evidence, just accusations.
It's got something to do with that girl, hasn't it?
How do you know?
That doesn't matter.
No, I suppose not. I didn't want to get involved, I swear. Those bastards kidnapped Esther. If I don't cooperate, they'll kill her.
Who is Esther?
My girl, of course. That scum took her right out of the bathhouse.
I'm sorry about that.
Me too. Listen, I'll tell you everything, I promise. But only if I know that Esther's safe.
What, so I'm to go searching for her in the woods?
I know where they're keeping her, but nobody will help me. And what can puny little me do faced with those strapping great villains?
Very well. I'll bring back your Esther.
Really?
Yes, but then you have to tell me everything.
I will. I swear to God Almighty. Please, just bring her back to me. Nothing else matters.
Where are they keeping her?
In the Skalitz Hills. There are some abandoned cottages around the mines. That's where I saw her last. They took me there when I said they had to let me speak to her.
All right. I'll go there and try and think of something.
You're my savior.
Don't get your hopes up. Anything could happen.
Try to think of where to stick this sword. But anyways, let's go rescue her. It should be straightforward enough. Though when he said, you know, we'll come up with something, it's gonna be a fight. I can tell you that much already.
Good day, Henry.
So I guess I will see you guys in the Hills of Skalitz. Alright, so checking in on the way there. Conveniently, or inconveniently, depending on how you look at it, the bandits that have taken Esther hole up right next to another group of bandits that we have been tasked with killing. So it makes it very easy for me to handle both of these at once. However, I need to be very careful that when fighting one group I don't actually or accidentally aggro the other, because that could get very ugly very quickly.
Hey, who's that?
Okay.
What?
Well, I think the jig's up, so...
What are you
Are you
doing?
serious?
Tired
He
of
stopped
life, are you?
right as I fired. Okay, better get the sword out.
Is that the best you can do?
Did that hit you? Kind of looked like it. Ouch. I should probably try not to get too beat up here, because I have to fight, or potentially have to fight another group.
The Puritans are willingly for the slaughter.
Let's put this guy down
To arms!
before
Get
we
over
get hit in
here!
the back with a hammer.
Bring it on.
Wake up, Henry. Ah, crap. Yeah, we were already in bad
Hey!
shape here.
All of you, gather here!
Oh, shut up. No, no, no. Block. Okay. This hammer is just tearing through my armor.
Ow! Kunda!
Okay, so you're done. Let's put you down as well. That was the leader. So who's left? I hear him. I just don't see him.
What are you doing here? Tired of life, aren't
Ah.
Hey, all of you! Gather here!
Okay. Come on then.
I'll squash you like the last.
My counter is being real slow here.
That
was weird.
I'm over here.
Come on, hit him.
Yow!
There we go.
Cunt!
Whoa, look at you go. Okay. What are you trying to do? That was just weird. I'll take that.
Who's there?
I think this is the last one.
What's going on there? Hey, who's there?
Ah.
What have we got here?
Hello.
Wait. Over here! Where's everyone? Quick!
I'm being too aggressive. I hear somebody else shouting though. Oh, and I see somebody else out of the corner of my eye. Haha, I saw you. Nice try though. Let's see if we can't get his friend to shoot him in the back. Come on, loose that arrow already.
Bollocks!
Down you go. Okay, apparently this guy's screaming in my face.
Damn!
Alright, that's one group done. At least I think. Alright, here we are. I am incredibly encumbered, so this could end very poorly.
Who's that? Well now, look what's come crawling
What's going on there?
I think I can take you guys after what I just dealt with.
Alarm!
Oh, you're already dead. Horse, please get out of the way.
Hey!
Ouch.
All of you, gather here! Stop the alarm!
Somebody is standing on top of me. There we go. Oh boy. What did you do? Oh crap.
2 arms! Get over here!
There we go.
I'll find you, you cur! You can't hide dead!
Come on then. No?
God damn!
Did that hurt him? Like I stuck my sword right through his chest. Nope. No surrender. Oh, hello. You're fighting again? Yeah, my mouse is being like really unresponsive. Kind of concerned about that actually. I am so slow I can't even close distance to tie him up. Ouch. Well, at least I had a chance to heal up and repair my armor between fights. I have like so many blacksmith kits on me. Blacksmith kits, armorer's kits. I don't have any tailoring kits. I should buy some of those. But just the ones I've been looting have been more than enough. Oh man. Not having mobility is making this really hard. Okay, let's finish you off. Oh, come on, don't do this. Don't make me run. Come on, Pebbles. Move faster.
Yeah.
Alright, where did he go? Oh, crap. Oh, there he is. You thought you were safe. Did I miss?
Yeah.
Guess I missed. You think you were getting away with all that loot? I don't think so.
Please, help me.
They won't hurt you now.
However did you find me?
Florian told me where they took you.
I'm a fool. I thought he was just a dandy, God knows why. And it turns out he's a villain in league with thieves. And a coward too. This whole time he knew where I was.
It's not Florian's fault. He was terrified they'd do something to you. They had him over a barrel.
You're right. Poor Florian must have been more scared than me.
I'd say so.
We should probably set off.
I'll go with you. I'd hate to lose you on the way.
God grant you health.
I found that Esther of yours.
I know! Back already. How can I ever thank you?
By telling me all about the goings-on with Rapita.
They found me in the tavern one evening. Caught me when I went to the shit pile. They started to badger me about working for them.
They?
Yes, Rapita. And a knight they called Sir Jezek.
And then what?
They explained what they wanted from me and I told them to sod off.
I'm guessing that didn't go down too well.
It wasn't all that bad. They just threw me on the dung heap and left. I thought it was just a drunkard's joke. But then they took Esther.
Why didn't you tell anyone?
At first I took it for a bad joke. And then, when they snatched Esther, there was nothing to be done.
Where will I find Rapita?
He's usually wherever I am.
What does that mean?
He watches me. Everywhere I go. And when I'm at home, he sits on the bench in the square, watching my house.
So he's there now?
Hard to say. Sometimes I see him in the tavern on the green, buying supplies.
All right. At least I know where to start. And you go to work tomorrow, you hear?
Why?
Because we have to lure him out. And besides, your master will surely be glad to see you.
I have my doubts.
Suppose I'd better go. I'd hate the bastard to get away.
Good luck, and thanks for the help.
Alright, so that is significantly more help than the last couple of clues we've gotten. So it sounds like he hangs out in the town square somewhere. And we know from us, I don't recall who it was, but somebody told us he was wearing a yellow cape. So let's hop on board Pebbles here. And just in case we have any runners, I am going to equip my bludgeon rather than my sword. I don't want to accidentally kill anybody that we need to talk to. Ah, I see yellow right there. Did he come right to us? He did.
Are you Rapita by any chance?
Pardon me? Do we know each other?
No, but I'm hoping to change that.
Well, I don't have much time right now. I'd best be off.
It'll only take a moment.
All right then. What do you want?
I know you're buying copper from Zach the blacksmith.
It seems there's no point making excuses.
None. Now tell me where their workshop is.
Of course, of course.
God be with you, Henry.
That will be the best solution.
So?
Let's leave it for another time.
Ah, damn it. Alright, he's making a run for it. I am still a little bit encumbered, so let's get aboard Pebbles here, and we'll run him down that way. Bludgeon, please, Henry.
Yeah.
Let's try not to whack any guards by accident. That would be not great for us. God, there's so many people in the way. Come on, out of the way. There we go. Oh, don't get knocked out. God damn. It's like everybody decided to take a walk right now. That didn't hit you?
No, I give up.
Are you sure? And whack you again.
So, are you ready to talk?
I will. Just don't hurt me, please. What do you want from me?
Tell me where the workshop is. Don't worry. Your master won't be punishing you for betraying him. You're both gonna have too many other problems.
It's in the Skullet's mines.
That doesn't narrow it down very much.
On the eastern side of Skullet's Hill, there's an abandoned mine gallery. Well, it used to be abandoned. Now there's a small camp in front of it, and the workshop is inside.
Who is your lord?
Sir Yezhek of Ronov. That's what he calls himself, although Ronov Castle's long gone.
What happened to it?
Ronov used to belong to Vincent, Count Lichtenberg. After his death, it fell to Margrave Jobst, and he had it pulled down. He knew full well that Vincent's vassals would resist him.
Why? Everyone knows that when a lord dies without issue, the king can confer his estate on whoever he pleases.
But Vincent had descendants. Ronov only fell to the Margrave because he declared them all illegitimate. All because Vincent had refused to fight for him against Sir Prokop. Sir Yezhek led a revolt of the vassals, but Jobst rounded them all up. Only Sir Yezhek got away. Since then, he's become the scourge of the domain.
So who's Sir Yezhek working for? Don't tell me he just took it into his head one day to start forging coins.
That's not for me to know. Sir Yezhek was on speaking terms with various lordships.
Such as?
We were often guests at the monastery, but I slept in the hayloft, so I heard nothing.
And apart from that?
In the camp, you'd occasionally see a Hungarian nobleman, but I don't know what he was doing there, or who he is.
Who are you, anyway?
They call me Rapota. I used to be the executioner's henchman in Brno.
And how did you come to be serving Sir Yezhek?
I helped him escape from prison. If I was going to serve anyone, better Sir Yezhek than the executioner.
So you saw being a brigand's henchman as a step up in the world?
I thought if things changed and he stopped marauding, he might get Ronov back and take me into his service.
Well, after this little escapade, you can forget about that. You'll be lucky if you don't end up swinging on the gallows.
It's all the same anyway now. I've betrayed him.
I think I've heard enough.
Can I ask you something?
Yes?
I don't want to hang. It's a horrible death. I prefer you just kill me here and now.
Ah, you're not worth tainting my sword with your blood. Now get lost before I change my mind.
So, I'm gonna let him go. He's just one of the little people involved in this, and obviously he's not killed anyone directly. He hasn't hurt anybody other than, you know, they kidnapped Esther, but she didn't actually come to any harm. They were just holding her as collateral. And so it doesn't feel right to execute somebody like that. He's basically no different than Henry. It's just that he's serving, or he's unfortunate enough to serve a lord that's not very honorable, whereas Henry is fortunate enough to be serving Sir Radzig. So it's kind of like two sides of the same coin. Anyway, with that information, we can go track down Sir Yezhek now. We'll need to solicit the help of Sir Ulrich. We don't have to, but we can. We may as well. But I think we'll save that for next time. And we'll wrap up this quest line in that episode, and we'll probably start on a few side quests as well. That'll be a nice sort of break in the action. It'll let us get back to doing some side quests, because there's still quite a lot for us to do. I'd say we're about halfway through the second act of the game. And then once we sort of go back to the main quest after dealing with Sir Yezhek, we'll be sort of getting into the last part of Act 2, which will lead us into the final act. Anyway, that's where I'll leave it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I had a great time playing some Kingdom Come Deliverance with you, and I look forward to seeing you guys back here for the next episode.